momentum for their team. They're still dumping and chase and grinding, playing physical, wearing on their opponent, and not spending a ton of time in their own end, which gives Paul Maurice that comfort in knowing he can throw them out there and he can give the top three lines a little break when they need it.
Well, first off, Chris, not to correct you, you did say Todd Marchand. I think you've got some memories of your Anaheim days creeping in there.
Sorry, yeah,
who was speaking of Stanley Cups. Yeah, but to that point, like to the depth.
Same stature.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
Different speed levels. I remember Todd had a little bit higher top gear, I think. But looking at the way that Florida plays and how hard they are on these top guys, and McDavid and Draisaitl obviously have held their own against everyone who keys on them every series. Can two guys, can they do enough if these other guys don't step in, don't chip in? Are they special enough that they could do it essentially on their own? I know that's exaggerating. It always takes more than that, but you know what I mean.
No, I do know what you mean. I frankly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. They've been able to will themselves into that first game. Whether they deserved it or not, no, that's for the naysayers to suggest. But I think they can get to even with those two players.
Yep.
But they are going to have to rely on some other players in their lineup to provide some offense or some momentum swings throughout the course of the game. And they get it sporadically, but they don't get it often enough.
Mm-hmm. You're watching and listening to Chris Pronger, Hall of Famer, Stanley Cup champion, gold medalist. So, Prongs, I can't believe I'm going to ask you this question, but Sam Bennett falling on goalies, what are we going to do about this?
Yeah, well, it seems like every time somebody bumps a goalie, something else goes flat out.
The irony
may be
here.
two people on this call that were involved with it, but
What do you think?
it seems to become a regular occurrence. And I fall on both sides of it. Do I think the latest one was on purpose? I actually do.
Which got the penalty?
Yes,
of course.
Which was penalty worthy?
Which was a penalty, but there's a lot of people, players, former players saying that was not a penalty. Ekholm was pushing him directly to the side, and he fell this way. So
Right.
you do the math on that.
Yep.
And Nick, you could maybe speak better to that.
Well, no, but at the end of the day, when we evaluate, it's like he gets up, he plays, and you move on. If he tweaks a knee, if it's a twisted of an ankle by chance, we are talking about a different conversation, correct?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. If Stuart Skinner is hurt, we are absolutely having a different conversation.
If you were behind the bench right now, what would you be telling? If you're Paul Maurice right now, what do you tell Sam Bennett? Hey, take it easy here. I mean, you're not, or just hey, you're okay. Keep doing your
Absolutely
thing.
not. Absolutely not. You do not tell him to change one thing in his game.
Okay.
He's their leading goal scorer. He's been money.
He's pushing the
in
envelope
these
though.
playoffs. He is, and you know what? Sometimes you have to.
Okay.
And that's the way he plays to the best of his abilities, and he's playing at the highest level for him. He's occasionally crossing that line and may or may not get a speeding ticket, as our friend Brian Burke used to say. But for him to play to the best of his abilities for the Florida Panthers, he's got to play on the edge. And from time to time, he will cross it. But that gets the most out of him. And they get the most mileage out of him and his skill set when he plays that way.
Prongs, what can you tell us about how important the situation is for a defenseman in terms of their ability to play the best? I'm talking about Seth Jones going from a team that wasn't very good. You plug him in on Florida, and all of a sudden, he looks like one of the 10 best D-men in the league some nights. Like, the way he skates, his size, he's even physical right now. Like, he just seems to be a different guy.
Well, I think sometimes it's the system that you play in, too. They have very tight gaps, Florida, that is. They have very tight gaps. They play with an edge. They're moving their feet all the time. He's allowed to use his skill set, his tools. Great, good skater. Maybe lost a step in the mobility department. as we look at his early parts of his career and see him now. But good first pass, can provide offensive production, good shot. We've kind of seen him from the time he's gotten there to now throughout the course of these playoffs get stronger and stronger and stronger and really kind of feel out his role and understand how he needs to play to help his team win. And he's really flourished and thrived under Paul Maurice's system.
Hey, Prongs, a lot's been made the last couple of days with so much time off that Edmonton head coach Knobloch changed up the defensive pairs completely, all three of them. So what we've seen in the past between, I guess, Ekholm and Bouchard now looks like Nurse and Bouchard, Klingberg and Ekholm, and Wallman and Kulak here. If you were walking into that dressing room the other day and you saw all the switches and you weren't really told about them, how would that make you feel as a defenseman going in? I know as a winger, as a fourth line guy, sometimes I like see a switch up and I'm excited for it because I can only get better players, right, as on the fourth line. But what about these guys? If in fact that is it a smoke screen or is he legitimately thinking about a complete reboot in the pairings?
I think he's trying to find the best fit for the matchups that he's looking for against the Florida Panthers' top nine. And I don't think Nurse and Kulak have had the best start to this series. Previous series, I thought they played really, really well. Bouchard and Ekholm have been okay. Obviously, Bouchard has been up in the attack and providing offense. And when you cheat for offense, you're going to have some breakdowns. And one thing Darnell Nurse does very well is defend, and he's mobile, and we don't know how Ekholm is feeling. Can he take – it looked to me like in that last game, he looked a little tired. He looked a little not lackadaisical, but he didn't have the same jump or energy or jam to his game the second half of that hockey game and then on into the overtimes. So that might play a part in it too, because Evan Bouchard plays a lot, and Darnell Nurse can play those types of minutes. And Klingberg has been very effective. You get the two Swedes together, and then you've got Kulak and Wallman, who played together earlier in the playoffs and played pretty well together. So it gives them a lot of optionality, I think, on the back end for select matchups and who they want to move around. But I think part of it might be if these are the actual pairings. I think one of it is, they want to play Bouchard and Nurse a lot more. So Ekholm couldn't quite match up with being out as long as he was out. That's a lot of minutes to eat up for a guy just coming back in.
So you expect some legit changes back there then, based on what we saw the other day in practice?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Okay.
It would make a lot of sense based on what I saw in Game 2 from Ekholm. And based on the Kulak Nurse pairing, and struggle might be a strong word, but they had some issues. Switching it up, and that's the beauty of their back end right now is they're very versatile. They can move guys around. When you look at their left side, Ekholm and Nurse are defensive defensemen. Bouchard and Klingberg are offensive, so that moving them around makes a lot of sense. Wallman and Kulak, both mobile, both puck movers, both able to jump in the attack. And then you add Stetra as a seventh D. They're pretty mobile and active back there. And I like the optionality of being able to change it up a little bit. Certainly, I don't think it hurts them.
So far, the goaltending hasn't hurt the Oilers either. Do you watch this series with Stu Skinner in mind as like a, oh God, I hope this doesn't bite them sort of thing? Or are you of the belief that, look, he's shown in enough big games that he's solid?
He's made some really good stops
throughout
the course of the playoffs since he came back in against Vegas, then again against Dallas.